Yo, guys, it is Freshfield podcast here. We are coming in with a banger podcast today with our boy Lincoln and Josh. And then Drake, Josh and Drake, it's kind of separated right now. Drake is in Utah right now. But we have two special guests here today. We have Robbie.
What's up, guys?
And then we have Coach Wachtel.
Yeah, what's up,
Coach
homies?
Josh Wachtel.
Don't
No.
say my first name.
All right. So our topic of the day, today is NFL playoffs.
Yeah, NFL
That's
playoffs.
right.
Let's talk about the Bears before we do anything. Let's
The
talk about the Bears. Doink, doink.
Bears.
So this is the topic that we were talking about, and I know I'm the guest star, but I'm
Doink.
going to take over because I'm
Doink.
the best.
Whoa.
I guest star.
Doink.
Is what I said. Okay.
Double
We had this
doink.
conversation. I was going to talk about why I'm wearing Colts stuff, and I'm rooting for the Colts because I live in Indy,
That's
so I
right.
have to. But I used to not be a Colts fan. In fact, I used to root against the Colts when I was younger. And I wanted to tell you why. What? I know it's stunning, right? But here's why. In 2008, I want to say, I can't remember exactly which year it was, 06, 07 maybe. The year the Steelers won the Super Bowl. I'm a Steelers fan.
2005.
Don't talk to me about Antonio Brown. Well, it was the 2006 January, I think. Pretty sure it was the 05-06 season. Anyway, doesn't matter specifically. The Colts were like 14-2 that year, and the Steelers beat them in the RCA Dome. That's right, the RCA Dome. R.I.P. RCA Dome.
Throwback.
Was that the game when Ben Roethlisberger?
The
made
Immaculate
tackle?
Redemption is what they
Yeah.
called it because he had the sweet tackle because Nick Harper got, I think, stabbed in the leg by his wife or something the 2 days before.
Oh, God.
And the Steelers were winning the entire game,
Probably on
and
Dateline.
Jerome Bettis fumbled on like the Colts 2-yard line, and Nick Harper picked it up and returned it, and he got tripped up by Roethlisberger. Then Mike Vanderjagt missed the field goal. Then his career basically ended after that because he missed that big field goal. But
Cody Parkey.
I got mocked so mercilessly leading up to that week. And then everybody rooted against the Steelers and was so mean to me. In fact, I wore my Cordell Stewart jersey after they won the Super Bowl. Cordell Stewart, I think, left the team in like 99 or something like that. Somebody goes, "Did you run out and buy that last night?" It's like, yes. I ran out and bought the jersey of a quarterback that left the team 7 years prior to this. So I decided that I was going to root against the Colts for a long time, but I've kind of gotten over that because I'm not 14 anymore. Maturity. So I really like Andrew Luck, and I like the new coach, and I like a lot about the team. So I've decided, big news here, I'm rooting for the Colts to win the Super Bowl this year.
So
And he's the biggest fan of the Colts ever.
That's not true. Actually, it is kind of true, but it's not really true. I am still a Steelers fan, but with all the
Why'd
drama
you even
going on
like
with
the
that team-
Steelers?
So my dad liked him when he was growing up because he was
was
kind of a
from New Jersey.
bandwagoner when he was like 12. They were really good, okay?
Wow.
And then he stuck with them,
Ooh.
even though they didn't do anything in the 80s and were not great in the 90s.
Respect.
But it's the same reason I'm an Arizona Diamondbacks fan because I just kind of decided,
It's your bandwagon.
well, pretty much. I mean, yeah, it was they won the World Series when I was 9. And
Now they
anyway.
pay Zank.
So I'm a
too
Steelers
much.
fan. It's hard to be a Steelers fan these days, but I'm rooting for the Indianapolis Colts to win it all this year.
That's right.
Speaking of the Colts and the Bears, the Bears are. It looks like the Bears are going to sign Chuck Pagano as their defensive coordinator.
That's a really good hire.
Yeah.
What do you guys
Yes.
think? Hey, Pagano's a good defensive coordinator, not a good coach,
was
not a
really
good head
good. He
coach.
was really good
He's a good DC though.
with the Ravens, I think.
Yeah, he was the Ravens DC after Rex Ryan left. What do you guys think about all the, like here? Let's talk about hires in the NFL. I mean, we're kind of jumping.
Hires and fires.
Well,
Fun
I want to talk
fact.
mostly about hires because so here are some interesting choices. The Arizona Cardinals hired Cliff Kingsbury to be their head coach,
Kingsbury.
who was the coach at Texas Tech, and they were not good.
No.
And he's like a young, fresh offensive mind, I guess. But
It's
he's
the
been
Patrick
given the
Mahomes
reign.
effect.
He's been given the. I actually think it's a Sean McVay effect more than anything. And the Bengals are really interested in
Matt
hiring
Nagy.
the quarterback coach for the Rams, whose name is Zach Taylor, I want to say.
He's been with the team for like a year.
I know, and he was the assistant wide receivers coach last year.
I don't want to kiss Kai.
It's the mic then.
Anyway, I just think that's great. Like Sean McVay's been a great coach, but like everyone who's ever like spoken a word to him before is getting a head coaching job with like no experience. What do you guys think about that? I'm just curious.
I don't know anything about football.
Well, then maybe you shouldn't talk. I'm just kidding.
What team was
I
this?
don't know. It's really
Well, I'm
weird.
talking about the Cardinals with Cliff
Well, the
Kingsbury, and
Cardinals
also
are so bad.
and also the Bengals with Zach Taylor, the quarterback coach of the Rams. I mean, I'm just curious what you guys think.
Bengals haven't won a
Weird.
playoff game in 20 years. Changes anything. You know what?
They should have won that
I
game.
feel like
against
people are
Steelers.
just.
Andy
Change.
Dalton is
Like,
amazing.
they're just trying to.
I've met him at Orange Leaf
Well,
once,
they're
actually.
gonna
Good
find-
story. I was
Yeah.
in
Well,
Cincinnati.
hold on. You just interrupted Robert Bogert.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
I just
Robert.
think they're trying to hope that they can find someone that'll just like bring their team up from the ashes.
I
The Cardinals.
think, I think,
Are we
yeah, I
talking
think
about
it's
the
better to do
Cardinals?
this than to just keep hiring the same old.
Adam
I
Gase.
agree.
Well, like Adam,
Bruce
that's a terrible
Arians.
hire. But like when Jack Del Rio kept getting hired by people, like he wasn't a good head
Oh,
coach. He's
Bruce
a good
Arians
dude
is
and
a
a
good
good
coach.
coordinator. It's crazy. Anyway, what's your story, Dagma?
All right, so I was in Cincinnati. I think I was going to a Tigers-Reds game, and Andy Dalton and like a player in the Cleveland Browns. They must have gone to the same college
Baker?
or something. No, not Baker.
If it was
Baker was probably like a
12.
freshman
Probably
in like,
busy baking
college.
cakes.
I
He
don't
was
think.
probably in high school. This is a long time ago. I was a little kid. They pulled up at Orange Leaf, and there's these two big old lineman guys. I'm like, can I have your autograph? Looks like you play football. And they're like, yeah. We're on the Browns or
What if they
something.
wouldn't have
And
been
like one
football
was on
players?
Cincinnati.
So do you just walk up to random large
Yeah.
men and say, "Can I have your autograph? You look like you play football."
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then they go, you should
Might
get
as
that
well.
guy's autograph. He's the quarterback. And there's this big redhead. And I'm like,
Andy
oh.
Dalton, baby, the red rifle.
And then I got an autograph. It said Andy Dalton.
Jeff Driscoll is the future for the
I don't
Bengals.
think that's
Sam Darnold is the
Yes.
future for.
the Jets.
Lincoln has a
Jets.
crush on Sam Darnold.
Sam-
NFL teams.
We already talked about
Bears.
this guy.
Detroit
Colts.
Lions.
The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Colts, kind of.
I like
too.
Colts for now.
Sam Darnold is gonna
The worst
be
quarterback in the
the
draft
next
class.
Andrew Rodgers. I
Aaron
promise.
Rodgers?
you.
Rodgers.
Wow, that's,
Aaron
That's
Rodgers.
very interesting.
What did I say?
He said Andrew.
Andrew Rodgers.
I
No,
will
I
have you
didn't.
know that Aaron Rodgers texted me last night and said, "I'm listening to your podcast, and if you talk about me, make sure you get my name right." So
I did
just-
not say Andrew.
You said
want-
Andrew.
Well,
You
good
said
thing we're
Andrew.
recording it so we can.
There
see
was
it
a
later.
pastor at
Um,
my church that his name was Andrew Rodgers, so that's
Oh,
probably
who's
why I
this?
said that.
Josh Allen is the
gone
best
now.
quarterback in
He's
the
actually
class.
the
Facts.
best running back in the NFL.
Yeah, and
Sam
quarterback, too.
Darnold will be
He has a
the
cannon.
greatest quarterback of all time.
I don't agree with that.
Let's talk
It's
about
definitely gonna
Colin
be Joshua
Kaepernick.
Dobbs. No,
It's gonna be Jeff Driscoll.
Jeff Driscoll.
Do you have
is the
something
future.
against Colin Kaepernick, Mr.
No, I have
Wachtel?
something against talking to you guys.
Should
about
the
Colin.
NFL be
Mullins.
allowed? Should the NFL allow players to kneel during the national
Oh
anthem?
boy.
no. And coach has no comment too.
It's not the NFL's business. It's
Yeah,
the owner's
I don't
business.
Think they can say
The
anything
owner
about that.
Of
but
the team?
They pay him, and the players are his rules, his governing.
They're right to do what they want, but
So do you think
It's
it's ridiculous that like
disrespectful, though,
Mike Pence walked
in
out of
my
the Colts game when was it the 49ers that were kneeling?
I don't know.
Some team last year. Was it the
He's
49ers?
entitled to his opinions.
I think that was I heard, maybe this is just some biased post, but I heard that the reason that he went to that game was because he knew that the 49ers were going to kneel during the national anthem, so he was going to
Make a
leave.
statement.
And like
Here is what I want
Wow.
to say about this, and I
Oh,
will
here
actually
we
give my
go.
2 cents. Not on really what I want is people to actually listen to both sides of the story.
Facts.
I think what's happening with this, I think this is actually really important. I think that people are so emotionally involved that people who are in favor of kneeling don't listen to the people who are opposed to it, and vice versa. Because like Kaepernick used to just sit on the bench, and then he talked to, I think it was a former Green Beret, I want to say, who said that kneeling is actually more respectful. And I've done this because my grandpa was in the Navy, and we went to his funeral, and the guard came, and they actually kneel and then hand the flag over to the widow of the person who died. So that's actually why he's doing it. So he's actually kind of trying to show respect to those who died while also making a statement. Now, whether you agree or disagree with the statement, that's up to you. That's your own personal choice. But that is why the kneeling started. And I don't think a lot of people who talk about the situation understand that or know that. And I think it's just a sign that when something like this happens, I really think you just need to listen to both sides.
Was
That's
that
my
like
stance.
why
that's
he was
very
doing
well
it?
said.
Not
So he was
Kaepernick.
doing it
Not
initially
Kaepernick.
because he felt like there was racial injustice.
Yeah.
But then the kneeling started because he was told that he was showing disrespect to the troops. And he said, I don't really want to do that. I just want to make the statement. So that's when he started to kneel. So that's the
That's
story.
a good point, Coach Josh.
My only point is when there's a topic like this, just listen to both sides. We
Good
have our
point.
opinions, we have our entrenched opinions, and you're not necessarily going to change anyone's mind. But if we're not even listening, like, are we ever going to grow at all? I mean, come on.
Speaking of both
That's what I'm
sides,
saying.
Literally
Yeah,
everything.
literally not just like
Bobby,
big topics like this, but everything. You need to just listen to people. Listen to
speaking of
people.
both sides, what do we think of the wall?
No,
No.
not talking about that.
What
I'm
about
just kidding.
feminism?
Next
No, we're
topic.
not going. No,
How about we go back to the NFL playoffs? Who do you guys think is going to win it all?
Colts.
Saints or Colts?
Okay, so here's who's still in it. We have in the AFC.
Nick Foles and the Eagles are gonna go back to back.
Here's who we still have.
Hold
New
up.
guest speaker.
New guest Maximo.
Whaler.
Max Whaler.
Max
Another.
We're
Whaler.
gonna have to join a mic with someone else because actually we
He's not
can-
joining my mic.
Here, come here. We're gonna all have to like kiss
We
each
can
other.
have a choir.
So bring over a Minecraft
Did
block.
somebody say
Sit
choir?
on that. Dirt block or iron block. I don't care. Okay.
So
Wesley
Max
Brooks and
Whaler.
Zach Davis
So
will be
Max
here in 10
Whaler, who do you
minutes.
think is going to win the Super Bowl this year?
Not the Colts.
Just get closer.
Boo.
I don't know who.
So who do we still have? We still
feel
have
like
the
people-
Colts, who are playing the Chiefs.
People are forgetting
We have
about
the
the Rams.
Patriots, who are playing the Chargers, right?
That'll be a good game.
Then in the NFC, we have I almost said the 49ers. The Saints, who are playing the Eagles,
Yep.
I think.
Yeah.
And then we have the
Cowboys.
Cowboys,
and
who are
Rams.
playing the Rams.
Now, not to
I wanna
interrupt.
say that we'd be the Indiana underdogs,
I
but
feel
I
like-
feel like we're
No,
gonna lose.
I think the Cowboys are gonna beat the Rams.
I take.
You think?
I take all the higher seeds except for.
You mean higher like better seeds or higher like the higher number?
higher number? Like like the.
Like the underdogs?
I take the Rams. Like yeah, the higher ranked the teams with better regular
Okay,
season
so the
records.
favorites.
Yeah.
You take the favorites. Okay.
Besides the Chargers, I think the Chargers will beat the Patriots.
I hope so.
Brady.
I actually agree with that, and I actually think the Chargers are going to play for the Super Bowl this year.
I think.
I hope they do.
Good take.
If the Colts don't, I hope the Chargers.
Because
do.
Philip Rivers is like
He's
Philip
a
Rivers.
He's a dog.
Philip Rivers is one of the most underrated quarterbacks I think who ever lived.
Yeah,
And
he
I'm,
also
re-
has,
I'm
like,
not saying he's one of the best,
He also has,
but
like,
he
30
is
kids.
like nobody ever talks about.
He's
Phillip
making his
Rivers.
Hall of Fame case.
There are 3 quarterbacks in that class. The top 3
Big
quarterbacks
Ben.
taken: Eli Manning, Philip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger.
Philip Rivers.
Roethlisberger is definitely a Hall of Famer, and I know that you think I'm a homer. Look at the stats and look at what he's done. He's like 6th all time in passing yards. He's really good, okay? And he's not the best guy in the world, but he's a good quarterback. Philip Rivers has a case, I think, if he wins the Super Bowl, but I'm not sure right now. And Eli Manning is weird because he's either like one of the best quarterbacks in the league or terrible. I think he might still get in because of the Super Bowls and because
There's
of,
no way.
I think he'll get in.
He
I don't
definitely
think
should.
he
He's
is.
Tom
Well,
Brady's kryptonite
I have
Yeah.
something to say. So I think
and Nick Foles.
the reason
He does.
Eli Manning looks so bad this year is because his offensive line is
Sure,
terrible,
but
the
I mean,
worst
even
in
when
the
he was
league.
like good,
He
like
also
even
has
like in the
Odell
late
Beckham Jr. and
2000s,
Saquon Barkley.
like
If you
he
can't have a
still
good
had
offensive
years where he
line.
like led the league in interceptions. Like he's not like the best statistically, but I think he'll probably get in because of the
Speaking
story. of it.
speaking of offensive lines, can I make this claim? I've thought of this. I think offensive lines carry the running back.
Oh yeah,
Facts.
So, Like
Yeah.
that's why quarterbacks
Yes.
and running backs always like buy washes and dinners and stuff for their linemen because they don't get any credit for a lot of the time, but they are like. If you don't have an offensive line,
That's
you
why the
cannot.
Colts are
Ezekiel
so much
Elliott
better
got
this
them
year
all
than they
John
have
Deere
been.
Gators.
And
That's
to-
freaking
and the Ra-
amazing.
the
I don't know
Rams
what you
have-
just said, but yeah.
You know, there's
The Rams
like
and Colts.
it's like a golf cart, but like a badass
yeah,
It's the
golf cart. You
offensive
bought,
line
like,
is the reason the
all of
Cowboys
them.
are good too.
Rams and Colts made the biggest improvements. Like last year, the Rams went from terrible to amazing, and this year the Colts went from terrible to amazing. And both of that is because of their offense.
Not to diss the Cowboys, but you know how good they would be if they had a saucy quarterback. Like not to
Dak
diss.
Prescott's pretty.
He's not bad, but like if they had like
Like
Check
Andrew
down
an
low.
Luck.
elite quarterback,
Very
they would be
saucy boy.
amazing.
Romeo and Juliet. Did you guys hear that? Kai Connor referencing Romeo and Juliet.
What did you say? I
He
couldn't
said
hear
you are a
Saucy
saucy boy.
Does he?
That's a line from Romeo and Juliet.
It's from
Good.
Basketball and Juliet. Actually.
Romeo.
Robbie, I think like you had something to say a while ago, and then Josh got
I
talking.
forget now.
Okay, all right. So,
Can we
so
go?
let's have our Super Bowl predictions real
Can we
quick.
go around the room?
I'm
and do
gonna
that?
say, and this is kind of crazy. I'm gonna say Rams and Chargers. Is that what I'm gonna say?
And who wins?
Yep, that's mine too. actually.
Rams.
All right.
Rams will win it all.
Can we go around the room? Say
Uh,
Super Bowl predictions.
I-
Robbie.
I say Rams Chargers unless.
Wow, real original, Robbie.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm just kidding.
I say Rams Chargers unless Spencer Ware and the Chiefs running game can pick up for what they lost with Kareem Hunt.
Mm.
Yeah.
He's
Max
kicked away
Whaler.
their chances.
I think it's gonna be Cowboys and Chargers
Why?
because
Use evidence.
well, I think that if they can beat the Rams, then it's gonna be it's not gonna be easy for them to get to the Super Bowl, but it's gonna be a lot easier than the game. playing the
That's true.
Rams.
If you beat the Rams, you can beat pretty much anybody.
Right,
The Saints
exactly.
are not looking that great,
Yeah.
honestly. Like they're a good team,
That's
but
all I was about to say.
they almost lost to Pittsburgh
I'm just
in the
so mad.
Superdome, and they probably should
Bears
have.
had a good chance this year.
They
I'm so
did,
mad
actually.
lost.
All right, Kai Connor. What's your Super Bowl prediction?
I don't really know that much about
Oh.
football, so probably the Eagles and Colts. I don't even know. Are they playing against each other next?
Eagles and
No, they're in
Colts.
different conferences, so that could happen.
The two 6 seeds.
That's hilarious.
That
All
was
right.
a good prediction.
Josh Dykema.
The 2 6 seeds meeting in the
Josh
Super Bowl.
Dykema's gonna give his prediction.
I have the greatest quarterback of all time, Nick Foles, getting the job done. Nick Foles would be
not.
better than Tom Brady if he had the opportunities.
Peyton Manning's the greatest.
Nick
give
of all
me-
Foles
time.
wins it
No,
all.
he's not. Tom Brady's a great
All right,
quarterback.
Josh
Tom Brady's
Dykema, Super Bowl prediction.
Tom Brady is better than
I already
Nick
said it.
Foles.
Nick Foles takes it all.
Who do they play in the Super Bowl?
I'll say Chargers or Colts. Chargers.
Alright.
I'm gonna say Chargers.
So I have some things to say. I think
Okay.
I think the Rams are honestly overrated this year. I think
Wait.
I
They have the best defensive player in the NFL, bar none. They have a great
Khalil
receiving
Mack.
core. Aaron Donald is the best interior lineman in the NFL.
all right. You know
How
what?
do they work
So
Offensive
so
line.
I'm not saying you're wrong. You're
One of the best
entitled to your
I
opinion.
think what matters in the playoffs is experience, and that's why the Chiefs don't stand a chance against the Colts on Saturday.
You know who
because-
does have experience?
Colts are the
Nick
youngest-
Foles.
Colts are the youngest team in the NFL. What do you
Yeah,
But
but-
I do think you have a point with quarterback experience being
quarterback
more
experience.
important
Patrick
than anything.
Mahomes, like
I
look
could see
at
Mahomes
Deshaun
coming out and
Watson.
laying an egg, but I could also see him throwing
No,
5 touchdowns.
He's
like,
Pat Mahomes. though.
But Deshaun Watson, okay, Lamar Jackson, and who's the other first-time playoff quarterback?
Mitchell
from-
Trubisky.
Yeah, Mitch.
Who had the second highest passer rating in all of the Week 1 playoffs.
And he lost. So I'm just saying experience matters. So I think
Kai has talked about muffins many times today.
I
just
think-
want everyone to know that.
I think because Drew Brees is so experienced and is playing well
Yeah.
right now that they are going to win the NFC. But I think the Colts are going to win it all.
You think?
Wow,
I actually
hometown
can see
boy.
it. I
So
can see it.
I think
they're they're on fire right
I
now.
think we stand a great chance of winning the AFC, and if we do that, like, just because we're in the Super Bowl, I don't know. I think
I can
we
see
have
it.
a lot of fire. We have a great coach, great quarterback, great offensive line. Like, we are a great all-around team. Like, we're really not lacking
Good
in
special
any
teams.
position.
How happy are Colts fans?
Very
that
happy.
Josh McDaniels did not take that
Oh.
job.
Oh, incredible.
Incredible.
Happy.
Because Reich is better. I'm sorry.
yeah.
I mean, McDaniels might be better when he gets an actual job. I assume it'll be the Patriots when Belichick retires.
Where-
But
Where was Reich from?
the
Is he
Eagles.
offensive
He was the Eagles
coordinator?
offensive coordinator.
Offensive
and he used to
coordinator.
coach with the Colts. Like, I didn't know that. Why did they not call him first?
And
He's
he-
obviously the best man for the
and
job.
He played for the Oilers.
He led the
Oilers.
biggest comeback in playoff history.
And he's gonna do it again against the Chiefs.
Here, I don't know.
That's right.
Well, I think they'll be
Wait,
winning
no, we already
by
had a
so
big
much.
comeback against the
I don't-
Chiefs.
Yeah.
I was watching that game at Greeks and Carmel, and it was like, 38-10 at halftime or something. I was like, well, this is hilarious because I was rooting against the Colts back then. But then as I watched, I was like, man, Andrew Luck. When he
was
did
hype.
that Superman
That was really
touchdown,
hype.
That was
so
That was
incredible.
amazing.
I
That was
don't know
so
if
baller.
I think that's the greatest football game I've ever seen. Just like I enjoyed watching that so
Well,
much.
I mean, I would say that my favorite football game of all time was the Steelers-Cardinals Super Bowl.
That
But
was
just because it was
Mine
really
is
exciting. because
Michigan
I-
State Baylor. You
Oh,
remember
yeah.
that one
Yes,
where they
that
came
was
back
crazy.
from 21?
Oh my god.
I didn't see
that
the
was
Super
insane.
Bowl with Tom Brady and the Falcons. I fell
insane.
asleep. I was in a food coma. My parents
That was
couldn't
so
wake
obvious
me.
that was gonna happen.
I was
that-
driving home from a ski resort. We were at like a bar and like watching the game in the first half, and there's these super drunk guys, but that's another whole nother shit. And so
Good to know.
we left at like halfway through the third quarter because we thought the game was over and we wanted to get home because we had like a 4-hour drive and it was already like 10 p.m. And then we just left and we were listening to it on the radio, and as soon as Tom Brady got within like 14 points,
like, it's
we just
over.
knew it was over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never count out touchdown Tom.
The most disappointing game though was Indiana versus Rutgers when they came back from like 4.
Oh, that was, I don't even want to talk about that.
I-
yeah.
Imagine losing to Rutgers.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
Well,
Hey,
yeah.
Rutgers basketball just beat Ohio State basketball, the Rutgers University.
Really.
Yes.
Yeah,
Or-
like
Rutgers
66 to 63, I think.
Rutgers is
Edgar.
actually kind of.
It's
good at
not like
basketball.
Rug Edgar.
They're really not that bad at basketball. They have
mean,
one
they're
guy who's
not.
good, like that one, like I don't even know his name.
Well,
Just yeah.
Jim Johnson.
what I think
I was about
about
to say something racist.
It's about that,
I was about to say the old Jack Light skin.
Okay, all right.
I held it.
Okay.
I'm just listening.
Please move on. You have about 4 minutes.
Max Whaler has
the
something to
Colts
say.
versus
Zach
the
Davis and
Kansas-
Wesley Brooks will be on their way.
Kansas City is I think that the Kansas City might be a little bit better than the Colts are, but the Colts have like the mental advantage over Kansas City because of the like the Kansas City they haven't been in the playoffs for.
Well, yeah.
they keep
Also,
on losing in the playoffs.
the Kansas City defense is really bad.
Really bad.
And
Yeah.
they don't have Eric Berry.
And
Like,
our
he's not gonna
O-line-
play this
And
week.
I think the
O-line's really good.
yeah, I think the Colts defense is going to be able to keep up with the Chiefs
I think
offense.
so.
Honestly,
Mahomes
Yeah.
is really good though.
Their
I don't. But if
offense
he's
is-
not,
But
if he's
he's
not incredible, if
inexperienced.
he's not incredible.
you can't contain a guy like Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Like
How are the Colts secondary?
He's
How's the
gonna
Colts
do
secondary?
anything.
I know they have Darius Leonard who's really good, but I don't know about their
it's solid.
secondary. Is it good?
Yeah, Malik.
I think it's
Hooker.
not Tyreek Hill and the other receiver that they have. Blanking on his name. Then they have a chance.
I think we
Kelsey.
stand a good
gotta say.
chance.
I'm thinking,
like,
yeah, Kelly. He's a tight end, but yeah, that's
That's
what I'm
gotta be
thinking.
like we're just an all-around good team. We don't have like one area that's lacking. Like our secondary is not obviously the
What
best,
about the D line?
but
that was the D line.
the D line is
They don't really have.
Darius
they
Leonard's a
don't really have any
linebacker,
big
right? I don't
names.
really watch the.
yeah.
Colts very
Darius
often.
Leonard's a
He's an outside
linebacker.
Okay.
They don't really have any big names on their defensive line, but they
No,
like,
but we do well. We
they get
get
the job done,
several
you know.
sacks every game.
It's their
Like-
coherent.
Cohesiveness.
They are coherent.
You mean cohesive?
Yeah. whatever.
Coherent is like you can be understood, so not Kai, because he's gonna say something incoherent right now.
Who are you guys' favorite quarterbacks?
Favorite quarterbacks? That's a good question.
Nick Foles.
Andrew Luck.
Nick Foles,
Well,
Nick
I'm
Mullins.
I'm like Colts all the
Man,
way.
I don't know. My favorite quarterback is not Ben Roethlisberger because I don't really like him that much.
Nice.
Are you talking
dude.
about like all time or current?
all time.
Jeff Driscoll.
Wayne Gretzky.
Big Jeff Driscoll. I'm a big fan of what was the name of that quarterback? Caleb Haney. Wasn't
Chad
he
Haney.
that guy who
I don't
was Bears backup when Jay Cutler got hurt?
I don't
You know
know.
what I'm talking about? Caleb Haney, like 6 or 7
Maybe.
years ago.
Yeah.
The answer is Jay Cutler, actually.
The backup guy in the Colts,
Just
Dorsett. I just find it funny. Like I was
Jacoby
watching
Brissett.
I was watching a Colts game
Dorsett.
and like
Dorset.
Philip Dorsett used to be a wide receiver.
they benched
Tony
Andrew Luck
Dorsett.
just to have the guy do a Hail Mary.
Oh,
And he
that
had to throw
was
it 70
awesome.
yards, and he threw it like 80. Like, no, okay, that's an exaggeration. Like, he had to throw it 60, and he threw it 70. He threw it so far.
yeah,
arm.
that,
I was
he-
just like, holy
He's the guy
crap.
that, I mean, they should keep around because he's a good quarterback. But if they traded him, they could trade him to somebody who needs a quarterback and he'd start.
Yeah.
He's a good quarterback.
yeah,
Okay,
but
next, Josh. Who's your favorite quarterback?
Nick Foles, Nick Mullins.
I think Patty Mahomes might be my favorite. I just love watching him
He's
play.
so cool.
I'd
say besides like
dog.
Trubisky and Andrew Luck, I'd probably say Russell Wilson.
Ooh, that's a
I
good
like
one
Russell
too.
Wilson.
Russell
I just
Wilson's
respect
good.
him. Like, whenever
very
He's a
I'm
good
a Lions
guy.
fan, he always beats us, and I'm just like,
I have a
still
lot. I have
respect
a
that
lot of
man.
respect for Brady too, just because he's. So
I
good.
don't respect him
How can you
cheater.
not respect him as a player?
because he
right?
He's a
cheated.
cheater.
He did not
Cheated in the
cheat.
AFC
He
Championship.
didn't cheat.
People who say that Brady is bad, they are just kind of.
Well, he's
Dumb.
obviously good, but he also
Smart word.
was so afraid of the Colts that he cheated in the
He
AFC
didn't cheat.
Championship.
They
They're
won
like-
that game
they're
by
like
like
sophomores in
35
biology.
I mean, yeah, they
points.
would have won anyway, but Brady is
They did not.
obviously
he did not cheat.
intimidated by Chuck Pagano.
Okay. After that fake punt he ran or whatever, that
Yes.
touchdown he ran,
Oh, that was
where
incredible.
he just like there was the center snapped it to the
Griff
punter,
Whalen.
and then just like 8 people tackled
Griff
him.
That was
Whalen.
genius.
And people were like, "Why on earth did you do that?"
Wait, when
We
you
had a
watched
deeper
the
meeting.
Footage of like when they deflated the balls. Was it like easy to tell that they did?
No,
No,
because they
no,
didn't
you
do
couldn't.
it.
It was like point.
it was-
It was like point
It was
0.02
so. It
Conspiracy
was.
theory
pounds.
by Salty's Colts fan.
It was what. It was never proved whether or not they actually deflated him, if it was just because the weather was bad,
I
and
remember
nobody ever
making-
checked the Colts
I remember
PSI
making
either.
David Green very angry.
It's a very corrupt
Kept talking about
investigation.
David
It
Green
was
and
just,
football.
Like honestly, like I'm not a Patriots fan, but I do respect how good they are, and it was really just like the Spygate thing. They didn't get punished very much for that,
That-
which they did
that is
cheat for
cheating,
that.
Definitely.
But so they brought the hammer down on Deflategate, which I don't think would have been that big a deal. In fact, a lot of quarterbacks came out during that and were like, "Yeah, like Aaron Rodgers said, I overinflate them because I like them more firm," and other quarterbacks were like, "Yeah, it's probably some are deflated."
Yeah. All right.
Who's your
So
favorite quarterback, real quick.
The Colts second string.
Jacoby Brissett,
Yeah.
guys, I think Robbie and
He's a
Max
cool
have to leave.
guy.
This
We're
is
out-
a-
I think
Robbie
we're out of
and
time for
Max
today.
have to go.
This is terrifying.
Bring on Wesley.
Thank
Brooks
you
and
for
Zach
coming.
Davis.
More people coming next.
We're about to have a big
lunch
Chiefs
Next-
period, and then
All right, my
Ooh.
favorite
Next
quarterback is
episode.
Andrew Luck, 'cause that's like the only one I know.
All right.
Actually, I'll say
Bye,
Eli
Robbie and
Manning.
Bye,
Max.
guys.
Love
gotta
you.
name Nick Foles.
All right, and the rest of us, I say we end the podcast
No, wait for
now,
Zach
and
Davis
we
to come.
continue with our next episode after this.
My final Super Bowl prediction: Rams over Chargers, 27-22.
22. They're gonna go for 2. You think? Yeah. Okay.
No, they're gonna get
Bye,
a
guys.
safety.
Bye.
Bye.
So is that it for this episode?
that is the end of this episode.
Wait for Zach
Yo,
Davis.
yo,
He's coming in
yo.
2 minutes. We can just keep him on for a couple minutes and then.
Watch
And
right
that's-
now. The Colts are gonna win on Saturday.
are.
You think?
How are we gonna watch
think
it?
so.
Wait, who are they playing? Chiefs?
We're gonna stream. All right. Are
I
we
think,
ready?
by the way, I just want to say it should be
One
Chiefs,
more thing.
not Chiefs, just so everyone's.
Chiefs.
I'm just kidding.
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
All right. Thank you for listening. Come back next time. Freshfield Podcast.
Out.